In June, I drove through some of Oregon's most barren country with neither of my favorite cameras. All I had with me was one hybrid system to see if it could replace them both. What you're gonna see in this video is my brief real-world experience with what just might be the camera that revives my inspiration to just get out and create. This isn't going to be scientific by any means, but I will be listing the lenses that I used for any photos or videos that I captured so you can get a good idea of how this kit responded to the real world. Over the years, I've traveled with essentially my full kit for stills and video. That kit would generally consist of my Pentax 645 and its 3 lenses, rolls of film, plus my Blackmagic 6K, a lens or 2 for it, memory, batteries, card reader, everything that you need to make your camera function properly on the road. It gets really heavy pretty quick. Plus, I'm constantly battling the question of, before I get to a location, do I want to take photos or videos? For this road trip, I took with me a rented Lumix S1II, an extra battery and an absurd amount of lenses, ranging from the Sirui 75mm anamorphic to a Lens Baby Composer Pro. Because honestly, I was stoked to see how they perform on this sensor in the various environments I'd find myself in. I spent my first night in the Paulina Peak Wilderness area, where I found that the amount of lenses that I had with me instilled within me Kid in the Candy Shop vibes. I'd shoot 2 to 3 photos on one lens, get back to the car and say, okay, that's it, I gotta set up my camp. Then I'd spot another lens, take 2 to 3 more photos, and so on. The next morning, after a totally sleepless and star-filled night, I was really excited to see the sunrise from the top of this beautiful mountain. I found very quickly that one of my favorite lenses to shoot on was the Minolta 58mm 1.4 adapted to the L mount with an earth adapter, which is actually what I'm shooting this video on. It provides a really beautiful and organic look, and the build quality of the lens itself in combination with the rugged body of the Lumix made it feel like I was handling a classic 35mm film camera. After that morning, I made my way up through Bend. I was headed to Smith Rock State Park to check out the sunrise the next morning. That night, I stayed at Skull Hollow Campground near Smith Rock, and I had a pretty good chat with the camp host who told me how his life totally turned around when he got offered the position of camp host. The next time I go traveling, I want to make it a point to capture as many portraits of people that I talk to along the way as possible. As an introvert, this is something that I'm continually working on, but looking back at my trip, the beauty of the world around me was matched in so many ways by the depth of those I briefly encountered. The one lens setup that I was most excited about was the Kip-On Bevies adapter for my medium format Pentax lenses. I had it in mind that this would be the setup that would surely replace my film kit. I thought, well, I mean, they're the same lenses, plus with the speed booster I'm getting access to the full image circle, so what would be the downside? The photos I got on this setup felt really nice, but with the ultra clean and sharp sensor of the S1II, plus the precision with which these lenses were built, without the inherent organic qualities that you get from shooting on film, left a little something to be desired. There was a pretty intense lack of character that I wasn't expecting, and it's something you can add back to some extent in post, but there was definitely something a little soulless about it. And honestly, it's probably just because I'm used to shooting on these lenses on film primarily. And like I said, at first I was kind of worried that I wouldn't like any of the photos that I got with this setup, but I forgot all about my worries when I was walking out of Smith Rock State Park. And I remember thinking to myself after taking this photo, Man, imagine if I saw a heron at Smith Rock. How lucky would I be? I certainly don't claim to be a wildlife photographer by any stretch of the imagination, nor do I think that this is my best work, but that's beside the point. What I was afforded by having the kit on me that I had at the time was the ability to act when I saw out of the corner of my eye this miracle that I had hoped for. I might have tried to take a photo if I had my Pentax on me, but the truth is, I shot 4 photos rapidly as the heron graced the airspace above me, and only one of those photos was actually worth anything. Speed at first wasn't a priority for me at all with testing out this hybrid camera, but in that moment I was reminded of how exciting catching severely temporary phenomena can be.
Every day you see quite a few.
Then I was off to Shaniko, a ghost town I had heard of for many years but never made the time to go check out. This was a situation where I didn't want to be weighed down by anything but my camera and the one lens it had on it. All of the photos that I captured in Shaniko were on the Sirui 75mm anamorphic lens. And as much as I want to get back there one day to explore some more with different setups, I can't say I regret putting that limitation on my toolkit. From there, I was Columbia Gorge bound. The Dalles would be my next stop for the night. I pulled over along the way to capture the peaceful undertones that permeated the windy plains. There was something so ethereal about the landscape. That, plus mild heat exhaustion, made for a delicately transcendent experience I had while on the swing set of a rest stop that someone deemed to be a park. That is a whole other conversation though. I made it to the Dalles and crash landed in the cheapest motel room I could find. After sleeping in my car for 2 nights, it felt like I was staying at the Ritz. I checked out some sites in town, shot a little bit with a red filter to see how that would react with a black and white edit. I had some drinks, checked out a free concert at a local wine shop. Laura Gibson was there, played a beautiful set. After that, I milled about in the Dalles in the dying light of day, pleasantly buzzed from my previous stops. The next day I headed to Portland to see some friends, to walk around in their neighborhood and stop to get some coffee. I couldn't have asked for a better flow to my trip, starting with the deep solitude, surrounded by nothing but hardy wildlife and open skies, then slowly made my way into the increasing hustle and bustle of the cities I passed through. To wrap this up and bring it back to the gear, I have to say that the single greatest benefit to having this camera is I no longer had to make the decision between, am I taking photos here or videos? Does this mean that I'm done using my cinema camera or my film camera? Absolutely not. My answer to the question, can one hybrid camera replace both of my favorites? In regard to travel, is a definite yes. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Michael Angier and I'll see you in the next one.